Alright guys, so the results are in. This is the graphical comparison of Black Ops 7, which has been posted very recently, which you can actually translate it over here. It's surprising that 12 years after launch, PS4 is still receiving Call of Duty releases. Here's a video of Black Ops 7 beta comparing it with PS5. And again, this is absolutely incredible that you can launch a game 12 years after and it still works like that, which I find super exciting. But the Black Ops PS4 versus PS5 was a big question again, because it's an old engine. Can it really run? And the answer is honestly yes. This is how we are seeing this right now. Like, level of detail is absolutely insane. And this type of particles, obviously the particles are a bit worse, but to me, guys, for an old engine, it does not look that bad. Can you honestly notice a difference here? Yeah, obviously with the rocks and everything like that, you are going to see that PS4 is worse. But when you don't have a choice, when you don't have enough money, for example, or when you just can't buy a PS5 yet, obviously people will be super happy to own Black Ops 7 on the PS4 itself. And there's a huge community for that, because in developing countries, that is where Call of Duty is really popular. Call of Duty is popular everywhere around the world. And of course, developing countries, they cannot afford a PS5 when it costs like 2 months or 1 month of their wage, maybe even up to 5 months in Asia. And again, particles here, you can really notice the detail. I really do appreciate that. But even the level of detail, of course, they had to scale back on the water. You can see over here, glass. Well, here the glass and the rocks even look super great. I don't feel people are going to be complaining about Black Ops when they literally see Black Ops 4 and Black Ops 5 level of details when they can play Black Ops 4 on the PS4. I haven't seen anyone complain, for example, and the textures here, this is where it really doesn't make that much of a difference. Sure, when you look at the grass, but when you see the rocks, all you can see is the detail of the rocks. And again, mostly 99% of the time, you are fighting in the game. You're going to be fighting against enemies by itself, and this is going to be the biggest graphic comparison. Now, I'm surprised this hasn't gotten more attention, because this is the big thing we are seeing right now. Is here Black Ops, is again not even looking that bad with particles. Now, the issue is the detail. Is it harder to spot enemies over here? That's what I'm worried about. And I personally feel like that this is not going to be that big of a problem. Here, the biggest issue that I feel personally for graphics is the weapons. The weapons are a bit, special attachments are slightly less detailed. Again, for a 15-year-old console, 12-year-old console that came, 2014? So now we're 2026, pretty much soon. It is still at a very good stage at this point, especially when you look at the detail by the side, the laser. It looks as it should be. And just that you can port this, it took developers a lot of work. Of course, the first thing you have to downscale is the ocean and waters, because if you guys don't know, water graphics, they take a long time. Then next up we have, here, there's not that much to change. Of course, every single particle here is going to take a hit, which is not that problematic, guys. And a lot of people had different opinions on this, like Star Wars Battlefront, se mejor que esa castana. Well, my Spanish is not the best, but they're still making money. They're obviously making lots of money from this, and they know the differences here are going to be negligible for people who want to own Black Ops, especially if it's going to be in Game Pass at some point. There's still a very big thriving community for Call of Duty. I will keep you guys updated more on this. Smash that like button. You can see the graphical differences over here. PS4 versus PS5 is perhaps, I would say, if we put this into ChatGPT, I would say this is maybe like a 40% difference, 30% difference. I might be too crazy, but again, it is noticeable. Don't get me wrong. But it is not how much of a graphical difference is this for PS4 versus PS5 Black Ops 7. So let's check over here. And one thing that I did miss out upon that I really noticed with the graphics here is obviously the bushes. So the screenshot comparison of Black Ops 7 to between PS4 shows a pretty clear difference in graphic fidelity. PS4 flat, blurry dirt with very few distinct rocks. Surfaces look more smooth out and lack depth. PS5 is sharper, more detailed with visible pebbles. So maybe my 50% was really bad. Then it goes really into detail. Weapon hand. The hand and glove look low resolution and smoother, more defined skin texture, glove stitching, and lightning reflections on the gun. So lacks immersion due to flatter surfaces. Casual player perspective. Noticeable but not game breaking. 5 out of 10 improvement. But graphics focused players perspective is big leap in realism and immersion. 8 out of 10 improvement. I definitely agree with that. For people who want to try PS4 and want to play Call of Duty, I don't think they will complain. Smash that like button, guys.